Good morning to you, college rugby fans. Welcome to Space City, Houston. We are in Texas for the National Collegiate Rugby All-Star Shield Championship. I am John Broker. I am joined by the ever-clever Pat Clifton, going to be joining me for the entire weekend. Our first game is going to be the Pacific Coast Grizzlies taking on the Tri-State Foundry. Pat, great day for rugby. Lots of good representation throughout the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about 50 degrees down here in Houston. It's going to get nice into the low 60s later into the day. So a good reprieve from the Tri-State for sure for these teams coming from, players coming from teams from New York and Connecticut. Teams from over 105 colleges, or players from over 105 colleges across the country represented here this weekend, split across 8 different teams going for this Shield Challenge Championship.
And we have our first kickoff there. That you see is Pacific Coast in the white. They are kicking off to the Tri-State Foundry. As Pat said, players from across the nation taking on this weekend here in Houston. And first kickoff comes back the way of the Pacific Coast. The Grizzlies on the move. Grizzlies, strong team out here. Good showing last year. We'll want to build on that, but an early penalty here. And I'm trying to go quick. Cannot do it. The Foundry, very related to Rugby New York, the MLR Major League Rugby team, Pat. A lot of these Major League Rugby teams getting involved in this Collegiate All-Star Tournament.
That's right. We saw the New England Free Jacks sponsor the New England Independence last year, the Northeast Independence, I should say, and they won the championship, and seen a lot of fruits from that and a lot of great talent on that team. And I think the Free Jacks would be frothing to get a lot of guys like Ollie Corbett and Malcolm Robinson on their side from that all-star team. And Rugby New York says, hey, if Boston can do it, we can do it. And they've sponsored the Foundry here and gotten involved. It's great to see.
Players from across the tri-state area of New York, Connecticut, New Jersey on that Foundry team that you see here. Foundry with this first lineup, and they're going to step that one in, but taken away there by the Pacific Coast, and it's not going to touch. We're going to have another line out here. Pat, we'll talk about this throughout the day, but this is day one here. These teams really played against each other a lot, have to get used to playing with one another. How big a factor is that in this early going?
It's massive, right? Most of these teams haven't had much time together whatsoever. They've just arrived in Houston, get to know each other's names, and how quickly can you get together and play with any kind of cohesion will certainly make a big difference, especially when in a pool play set up like we got this weekend.
Right there, ball down this time to the Foundry, looking to go, but it doesn't go to hand. The whistle here from the referee on that knockout will be Pacific Coast. Scrum down coming.
Pacific Coast finished second in this competition last year, but won it the prior 2 years. So they've got a long tradition of winning. They expect to be in it on day 2.
Harrison Dahl to put this one in for the Pacific Coast from Utah Valley University, from Alpine, Utah, the sophomore. Do our best to provide you information on as many players as we can this weekend. Referee brings that one up. Wants to come back for a good, safe scrum here for the Pacific Coast. Wants to get it set. Just 2 minutes gone. These are going to be 25-minute halves.
National Collegiate Rugby is the largest college membership organization in the country. They've got about 70% of the membership. And Utah Valley is one of those new schools this weekend that's being represented for the first time. They got a few players throughout the lineup. Starting at the back of that scrum, number 8, Parker Marquis. You're going to see the ball go through his legs here to another UVU Wolverine and Tyler Dahl.
That one comes up. We're going to set it down again here. Just shifting a little technical work here, folks, so we can get a better look at the game in this early morning sunshine here in beautiful Houston, Texas. Dahl to put this one in again. Brown waiting. Claremont College's fly half. Ball is away. Finally, a little move in the back line there. Milan Van Wyck played at number 10 last year quite a bit for this Pacific Coast team. from New Mexico Tech. All up to a waiting pot of forwards there for Pacific Coast. Here come the Grizzlies. Grizzlies through Von Wick. He's always able to attack the line, looking all the time. Von Wick goes in, straightens that one out. They've got most of their runners off to the right-hand side here. Just Devon McGee on the left, but now they've got options either way. We'll see where they decide to go. Dahl with the ball. Dahl moves it out to the right-hand side. Good defense coming in from the Foundry. Grizzlies going to have to reset this one. Little pop pass up there for the Grizzlies, and they're able to get that one away to the wing. Nice break across midfield. They come scrambling as a defense there from the Tri-State Foundry, and great penalty player forcing them in not to release the ball there. So penalty here for Tri-State. Opportunity to move this one downfield, and in steps Federico Gubana, the co-captain in Marist College Red Fox.
Early on, very early goings. Both teams still trying to get a little bit of continuity. We've hardly played any rugby without whistles breaking it up, so it's hard to get into a rhythm. First game of the day, not envious spot to be in. Nobody wants to play the 9 a.m. game, and these guys are out here knocking off the rust for everybody, you would seem. Hopefully settle into some good rugby and some good pattern, and as these guys' nerves calm down and their skills pick up.
We'll certainly see that. Lovely day here. Last year, the first day of this event was plagued by 60-mile-an-hour winds. We didn't know where the ball was going to go at any time, so it's nice to see here as Gubana puts in a little pass, gets his team moving forward in the Foundry. The Foundry, coached by Tui Osborne from St. Bonaventure University. The contact coach, Craig Wilson from Yale University. And from University of Connecticut, Rob Nipper-Chudzik. Little kick there from the Foundry. Put the ball in behind Pacific Coast. They elect to kick that one. Hillesheim takes it, moves it across field. They've got some runners here, a nice little space. Working their way upfield are the Foundry just outside the 22. Room off to the left here as Davis moves that one across. Little pop pass there. Up to the 22 they go. Big tackle coming in. Referee says all's good. Let's keep playing. Turned over by Pacific Coast. The Grizzlies on the move here. Grizzlies at their own 22, lots of room. They come, a little dummy runner comes in, the space opens up for Von Wick. Von Wick breaks away from one. Von Wick has an absolute complement of skills here, eventually taken in at the other 40-meter line. Ripped away nearly by the Foundry, the player not holding his own weight, so we're going to have a penalty here against Tri-State. Pacific Coast, opportunity to move this one feet downfield for Sam Brown.
Von Wick getting loose there, playing some inside center. Seen him play all over the park, a little bit of 10, a little bit of 15. He's a very skilled player, very athletic player, though, as well, and can break the line, and he did that time at 12, reversing the field position for the first time, putting the Grizzlies on the front foot. Now we've got a little ping pong as a result.
Does not go to him, but Devon McGee has a hold of it. McGee puts a pass in. That one's knocked on. Tri-State knocks it on themselves. We'll come back for a scrum here to the Tri-State Foundry.
Vuyo Imdalalose, the Wayne State fullback there in counterattack. Wayne State is in Nebraska, the northeast corner of Nebraska, Cummings County, beef country. That's what the billboard says as you're driving into town. So not quite the Pacific Coast, but, you know, if you're going to go train somewhere in a high-performance environment from Cummings County, it might as well be the Pacific Coast in the middle of the winter.
Good point. I learn a little bit every day, and it's early in the morning still, Pat Clifton.
Wayne State home to a absolutely massive 90-team rugby tournament every year.
Scrum going to be reset here.
Kind of a bittersweet development for the Wayne State Wildcats. Got a lot of national championships under their belt, but they're losing their amazing Wayne Rugby Park at the end of the season. It's being razed and being turned into some student housing, but the bonuses are being moved onto campus and will get to play in the football stadium.
Yeah, bittersweet change for the team there. Big squeeze coming on from Pacific Coast. Ball coming wrapped around. Let's see who's going to come up with this one. It looks like Tri-State, and they're going to draw the penalty for a player not rolling away. And here they come going quick. It looks like Gubana pops that one up, and the Foundry continue on the move here. Gubana chips that one through. Gubana from Udine, Italy. Grew up playing his rugby in that growing rugby nation. As ball comes down into the Pacific Coast. 22 knocked on. Going to be a scrum here for the Foundry.
I like the pressure that both of these Tri-State Foundry wings are putting on the Pacific Coast Grizzlies out wide. On both sides, we've seen it. Tony Robinson this time on the left, challenging that kick through and pressuring the Grizzlies into a bit of a mistake. So we got great territory, great position. This is the best scoring platform for either team so far.
See the scrum here for the Foundry with co-captain Reed Hammond from St. Bonaventure University, playing number 8 today. Former Fairfield Prep Jesuit.
Great high school coaching he received, I hear.
I've heard that. I've heard that. Frank Decker certainly did a great job coaching him. Frank Decker, the 37-year head coach at Fairfield Prep, but that one comes back. We're going to have a free kick here for the Foundry. Here comes Gubana. He chips one into the try zone. Not exactly what he might have wanted there, but we're going to come back. Referee may have spotted an infraction. Nope, we're going to come back for the goal line dropout here. Gubana might have wanted to keep that one in hand, Pat.
Yeah, Ndululose was able to put that ball down. Still a pretty, not a bad result. These goal line dropouts often, when handled well by your deep three players, can put you right on the front foot and on the verge of scoring again. There's still a new mechanism in the game.
Ball back to Gubana. Gubana has ball in hand this time. Come back there. Another knock on. Moving a little slow here with 10 minutes gone in this first half. And it's just these nerves. But with 25-minute halves, they really have to clean this up.
That's right. There's not a lot of the way this tournament is set up, which is 50-minute games, 25-minute halves. They're going to play their 3 pool play games today, and then we'll have the knockouts tomorrow. The way this is set up, there's not a lot of margin for error. You got to play good rugby, and so whoever plays the cleaner game and connects better and can get through the chaos more as a team usually has the front foot early on.
Pacific Coast to put this in. Pacific Coast, talk about their coaching staff. Jeremy Ognall from Claremont Colleges, with Scott Bracken, also Claremont. From Cal Maritime, David Bucky and Leaf Williams from Montana State, heading it up here for this Pacific Coast team. Long pass out to the width. Here comes the Pacific Coast across the 50-meter line. We know what they can do. That was Devon McGee from Sonoma State University. Takes that one in. All across there from Dahl. Dahl gets to a waiting set of forwards. Dahl again. I have close, but going to turn it over here for players coming off their feet for the Pacific Coast Grizzlies. It's going to be tri-state ball here just inside their own half of the field.
Really impressed with the run there by the outside center for the Pacific Coast Grizzlies, Connor Malaulu. He's a first year out of Oceanside, California, plays for Miracosta College. Fantastic run by them to set up that break, and unfortunately they turned the ball over, and now Tri-State's right back down at him. But a fantastic individual effort in an all-star tournament. You got to point those out and take credit for him, because his highlight reel got a good start to it already.
Line out coming here for the Foundry, just about 26 meters out from the line. It is going to be Hammond to put this one in. Sandy Hook, Connecticut native. Ball up into the middle. That goes to Jonah Clark. Clark down to Davis. Getting it out. Gubana on the wraparound. Gubana doesn't see it, but he sees some space up the middle. And the Italian-born player heads for the try zone. And the first 5 points of this competition will be scored by that man, Federico Gubana, the Marist College Red Fox. My alma mater, Pat.
Yeah, I can't tell if it's the Red Sox for the Red Fox that's making him look like a live wire in the midfield, or if he's actually moving quicker than everybody else. But he has been the playmaker so far for the Foundries. He's been the one testing that line, and that time he was able to poke through and get under for the try. Great run for Gubana. And, this is, it's early on, but this would be an upset. The Tri-State Foundry were able to knock off the Pacific Coast Grizzlies here.
It certainly would be. Pacific Grizzlies would be favored on paper, but Tui Osborne and crew would have a different attitude there, and certainly Gubana played for Benetton U18, surrounded by some great players from Nazareth College, just a great growing program, as well as Syracuse, UConn, a number of Iona, a number of other great programs up here in the Northeast, and that one's good. So we're at 7-0 Tri-State, just about 13 and a half minutes gone.
Talking to Tom Clark, the head of high performance, who put this whole thing together for NCR. The addition of the Connecticut teams last year was almost all New Yorkers, a couple kids from New Jersey colleges, but the addition and injection of some of this talent from the Connecticut schools has really helped bolster this Foundry squad.
Pacific Coast gets us underway again. Long kick inside the 22. Tri-State gets it to Gubana. He is going to launch this one downfield, but not fine touch, into the hands of Mdelalose, the Wayne State College flyer. A tremendous joy to call his games. Vuyo Mdelalose. On the ground they are. Ball coming out there from Dahl. Dahl gets it up into the hands of McLarnon. McLarnon, pop pass there, into contact they go, coming across. Sam Brown directing traffic, puts another set of forwards into contact, just trying to give themselves options either way, and have done. Ball this time comes up to Sean Munemo. Again, Dahl goes off to the right-hand side. Options building up here for the Grizzlies. Grizzlies looking for that right opportunity. Little pass back in to Foundry. But the penalty coming here against Tri-State for not releasing. We're going to bring that one back right to center field to the 40-meter line. Pacific Coast Grizzlies opportunity to push this one downfield, possibly level the score.
Huge carry there by Munemo, doing his best Saya Khaleesi impersonation in the middle of the field. Hoping to put the pressure on the Foundry here. That's going to give him a shot at goal. Impressed with both of the Wayne State Wildcats so far, him and Mdelalose, and what they've done for the Grizzlies thus far.
And the Grizzlies are going to go for posts here, try to get 3 points on the board, close down this gap just a little bit. And the Grizzlies put that first one up. It's hanging. It is going to go wide. Touchdown by Tri-State. Be a 22 drop for the Foundry. Gubana steps up to take that one.
See the first Tri-State dropout. We saw Pacific Coast get one away earlier, and Tri-State did not handle it super well. See how the Grizzlies go.
Taken by the Grizzlies. Crossfield they come, looking for a little space. Taking it on their own. Not isolated, however. Players coming around. Big pickups there, looking to go wide. Get the ball into Kersey's hands. Trey Kersey from Claremont College, the kinesiology major. Takes that one into contact. Dahl one more time, looking for some runners, but players coming in off their feet again for Pacific Coast. Going to turn that one around, be a Tri-State penalty at their own 22.
It's one of those things, especially here in this tournament, you want to start to identify that pattern. Oh, okay, this referee is starting to call it this way. Maybe we need to keep our feet or make this slight adjustment here at the breakdown so we can be on the right side of the whistle. Because when the Grizzlies have the ball in hand, they're doing good things.
Yeah, the Grizzlies unable so far, Pat, to get those really explosive outside runners into some space. Von Wick made a nice break. A couple other, Devon McGee made a nice break. If they can get those fellas running, they'll be in good shape.
Absolutely. Some good hammers in the midfield too, like Sean Munemo playing in the forwards, and Logan McDaniel. Humboldt lock, it's tough to bring down.
Big ball taken down there by Jonah Clark from Bath in the UK. Playing at Nazareth. Bonner just has to take that one in. Nice little step there from the Foundry. Looking for a little break, but that ball's taken away there by McLarnon. A little mistake on the pass there from the scrum half for the Foundry. Davis Cross we come. Opportunity here. Von Wick moves that one across. Out to the wing they go. This is the space they're looking for. Can he finish? Cannot. Devon McGee. McGee taken down by his bootstraps just about 10 meters out. Referee right on the spot. Looks like that one's been turned over by the Foundry. Good work and tight by this team from the greater New York City area as they go back for a kick. That one's blocked. Player right down on it. Foundry can be able to keep it. They're going to want to be a little cleaner with this one. Just a couple of mistakes creeping into their game in these last couple of minutes. Ball goes back deep to Gubana. He's going to find it. Gubana launches one downfield. Doesn't get too much. An attacking lineup at the 22 for the Grizzlies. Chance to regroup here for the Foundry. And quick they go on the run. Here come the Pacific Coast Grizzlies. They've got a wide open field to the left-hand side here if they can move this one out. Little pass in, just trying to draw in some more defenders there. Ball slips over into the hands of the Foundry. Another handling error. Players just trying to do a bit too much for some of these teams. A long box kick downfield, find some ground. Pacific Coast has to work back on that. There's that pressure you were talking about, Pat, from this Foundry team. Outside center and wing there, that's Ben Clow and Kyrie Poole from UConn and Nazareth, respectively. And Kyrie Poole, Nazareth player, playing for Tate Daniel in that New York State program. Ball's been knocked on by Pacific Coast. First be a scrum here. What pressure from the Foundry, Pat?
Yeah, they're doing a great job. Gubana has a great leg, and they know it. And Poole and Robinson are chasing it very well that time. Ben Clow doing a good job hunting it down. So these backs know that they have a great kicker, and they are getting behind him and sprinting after that ball and really putting pressure on the Grizzlies. Ndulelose used to having a lot more time and space when he's playing in that small college conference there in Northeast Nebraska. He looked up this time, saw two tacklers, didn't have any options, and lo and behold, it's a turnover. And now Tri-State is back after it. After it looks like is this halftime or a water break?
Yeah, it looks like halftime right here. So we are going to step away and be right back with the second half.
in our game. We play with our hearts. We don't play with sticks, bats, or gloves. We don't wear shoulder pads or helmets. We keep playing when it hurts. And we leave everything on the field. What we wear must be built for our game.
Welcome back. It's going to be the second half. Pacific Coast Grizzlies trailing the Tri-State Foundry. See a referee just having a couple of words there with Pacific Coast set of forwards. We're ready to get underway. John Broker with Pat Clifton. Pat, as you said, Tri-State up by just a little bit would be a surprise upset to some people, certainly not to Tri-State. What does Pacific Coast need to do to get back into this?
Yeah, Pacific Coast needs just to possess the ball. They've hardly had any ball whatsoever, and when they've had it, it's been in the defensive end. So they just need to possess the ball, get into the attacking end, and that's really about discipline and holding on to it. So most of their mistakes have been self-inflicted. So better discipline, tighten up their possession, tighten up their handling, and just play some offense.
A little bit of a tough morning here for the Grizzlies. Ball knocked back by the Foundry. Foundry players coming down with this one. Still have it, but knock-on creeps in there on Nick Davis. So we're going to go back for a scrum here. To the Pacific Coast are right in the center of the field inside their own half. But with the weapons they have out wide, a great attacking position for them.
Yep, these split scrums present a great opportunity. You can go either direction. Puts the defense in two minds, especially you have a really talented number 8. I think the Pacific Coast Grizzlies certainly have that here, and Harrison Dahl. I'm sorry, Parker Marquis, the club president, 6'2" for UVU, Utah Valley. So he handles all the paperwork and the ball at the back of the scrum.
Multi-talented player. Referee just taking this one down a little safely here for these teams. Pacific Coast. Ball in that time. It's at Marquis' feet, but good drive coming in from the Foundry. Off to the left-hand side they go. Ball lifted in the air by Brown. Well taken by the Foundry player. Can't quite see who that is in the back, but good stepping to get themselves free. Gubana steps in to the scrum half roll, but a penalty against the Foundry. Not rolling away, I believe.
Good fortune here for the Grizzlies. That's all they need. A little possession in the attacking end. Maybe the ball in that guy's hands a bit more. Milan Van Wyck, certainly one of the most exciting and electric players in the college game. When you move him to 12, you take some touches away. If he's playing fly half, he's going to get more touches than he is at 12. He's an absolutely dynamic player. Had a great line break early in that first half, and showed why, as a coach, you want to put him at 12. But you want to get him a little bit more involved in the second half, I think. Milan could start and star for literally any college program, coast to coast, period.
He's also a mineral engineering major from Namibia. Pacific Coast just outside the 22 of the Foundry. Can't come down with that one, but messy ball coming back for Tri-State. Tri-State looking to clean that one up, digging their way into Pacific Coast. They're going to come down with this in a little bit of a close position here. Going to need to step and reset. That's Von Wyck right there. Von Wyck, Pat mentions his name. Von Wyck touches it down. Try awarded. Milan Von Wyck on the board, and about to tie it up are the Pacific Coast Grizzlies.
I don't know what time it is in Namibia, but I know that it's like, 7:30 a.m. on the West Coast. Maybe these Grizzlies just needed to wake up. Von Wyck certainly providing plenty of motivation there, getting everyone, roosting them up and getting them awake. That's a great score for the Grizzlies and probably all they need. Good pressure off that line out to turn the ball over. The Grizzlies look like a completely different team just a minute into the second half here.
Following us up is Sam Brown. Brown launches that one through. We are all tied up here at Aviva Stadium here in beautiful Houston, Texas, home of the Houston SaberCats. where Pacific Coast, as Pat's pointed out, waking up this morning, getting ready to play, but Tri-State certainly would like to come out with a win with this one. We'll see how they do as they're going to kick up. You see Gubana there. Puts one down just outside or inside the 22. Launched downfield by the Grizzlies. Nice footwork, nice running here. Great work from Tri-State. Player not held. He's inside the 22. Working his way over is Davis. Gets to Gubana. Finds some forwards in the middle of the field. Big hit comes in from the Grizzlies. Off we come. Ball there. Popped out just a little wider to Sean Collins this time. Collins puts that one on as a SUNY Oswego player. We have an advantage here for Tri-State. They're going to wrap around Gubana. Ball goes in behind him. Also slips in behind Huggins. We're going to go back for a penalty there. Offsides against Pacific Coast. Opportunity for the kick here to take the lead, and Gubana calls for it right away, Pat.
Yeah, just wants to put that lead up. Smart player, Gubana. This is a chip shot for a guy like him. Tournament rugby, take the points while you can, especially when you got these shortened halves and you're up a little bit. Take some time off the clock. Good clock management. A lot of rugby to be played this weekend for both of these teams.
Gubana settles himself in, takes his time here. Gubana certainly has the distance, but does not have the accuracy on that pretty straightforward kick there. So it is going to be Pacific Coast. Opportunity to move this one back downfield. A little mistake there from the Italian-born Red Fox.
Grizzlies did a great job on their initial drop. 22-meter drop out. Did a good chase. Put the Tri-State Foundry under pressure. Want to do that again. This is actually a good opportunity to potentially create a turnover if you get a good chase on this thing.
Crossfield come the Foundry, get the ball into Gubana's hands. Gubana spots some space, pushes one back, looking for the 50-22, but doesn't get inside the 22, so return by Pacific Coast. Big kick down the field for Hillesheim to come on to. Hillesheim, business major from Pulaski, Wisconsin, gets it to Gubana. Gubana gets to the 40. Inside their own half, fighting away are the Tri-State Foundry. Got some runners here. That's big Georgie Basuku from Hofstra University. Good drive downfield. We have a penalty here against Pacific Coast off of that Tri-State pressure. Opportunity for them, either another shot at goal or to put this one in the corner. And it looks like Gubana is looking for the corner this time, Pat.
Yeah, he may be a little frustrated with that last kick. Pacific Coast continuing to hurt themselves in the breakdown, in the tackle area. Penalty after penalty. That momentum has carried on into the second half. And the Grizzlies are able to possess the ball. They're doing great. When they're playing defense for too long, they make impatient mistakes and end up committing penalties that give the Tri-State Foundry great opportunities to score like this one right here.
Hammond with the throw. Full line out here for the Foundry. They're going to go up into the center, but not going to make it. Picked away by the Pacific Coast Grizzlies. A great defensive line out work there. Ball back into the hands of Sam Brown. He's going to launch that one downfield for Hillesheim to come onto. Hillesheim takes it well. Hillesheim from inside his 50 pushes that one downfield. Gets a little bounce back. Pressure coming on, but good pickup from Pacific Coast. Well covered. Looking at the 50-meter line. Here come the Grizzlies. Grizzlies reassembling their offense. Sending some of the big units in. as they crossed the tri-state half. Harrison Dahl has to slip a tackle there. An advantage here, and a penalty coming back right at the 50-meter line for offsides against this tri-state team. Opportunity here for Pacific Coast. 9 minutes gone in the second half.
You can see the sense of urgency picking up for the Pacific Coast a little bit. They feel the deficit, and they feel the pressure of going 0-1 in pool play is certainly not going to make for a fun couple of hours as they await their next kickoff. A sense of urgency here for the Grizzlies to try and get this outcome. They're moving a little quicker to this line out than the Foundry are. These centers are fantastic. We saw Van Wyck bust free earlier, but also I want to see what kind of space that opens up for Malaulu, big man out of Miracosta College, kinesiology major. Only really seen him carry once, but with the attention Van Wyck's going to draw after that last try, I'd like to see him, what he can do with that ball.
Three-man line out here, goes right to the front. They do to Tom Williams, Pacific Coast Grizzlies, looking to attack with the big fellas, and certainly do. Williams, 6'4", 300 pounds out of Utah Valley University, the education major. Now moving on to another set of forwards here. Scrum half comes up with it, has to launch it away, somehow gets it into the hands of Brown. Brown has to go into contact. He's got a couple of tri-state players digging that ball out. And penalized is Tri-State. Thought they were clear on that one, but referee has a much better view than I do. Opportunity here for the Pacific Coast. Elijah Naranja in the game. Another New Mexico Tech player. They put it up to the big unit. The big unit's looking at the line. The big unit's held up. A referee right on the spot. He has an arm out for another advantage. Pacific Coast looking for it. Pacific Coast try. They pull ahead through Douglas Barnes, the big number 5 from Boise State, criminal justice major.
Boise State, another one of those programs, one of the more westernmost teams in National Collegiate Rugby. Very good team this year. Played Notre Dame College down in the Rhino Bowl. Put themselves very well. Broncos side is good, and so is this Utah Valley team. I mean, that was a great carry there by Tom Williams. 6'4", every one of those 300 pounds listed here on this roster. Powerful man, driving towards the try line. These UVU Wolverines have been really fantastic. Harrison Dahl with a great pass. I mean, for him to be able to get into contact and sneak that ball out a few phases before they scored was a really impressive, skillful play. Found the fly half Sam Brown from Claremont Colleges. Pacific Coast starting to get a little wind at their back, waking up a little bit, and a few penalties that finally went their way certainly helped on that last drive.
Nice kick to pull ahead. It is 14-7, one converted try. We take another look here, Pat. See the big unit come here, Naranjo directing traffic, the replacement scrum half, and over the line they go with Doug Barnes. We'll have a kickoff coming from the Foundry, and the blue here running from right to left on your screen. After this game in Stadium Field, we're going to have Independence Red versus Midwest Barbarians. Currently, Southeast Bears and Independence White are playing on Field 1 just outside of the stadium. Ball down to the Grizzlies. They're inside their own 22. Big pressure coming on from Tri-State. Hubana has ball in hand, moves that one up. A referee's going to bring it back and penalize Tri-State. For players with their hands in there. A little surprised.
I don't know what the difference is this half, but that is like 4 penalties on the trot there for the Foundry. They're starting to feel some of this pressure potentially from the momentum from Pacific Coast. Some subs rolling in, so some new guys learning the referee's tendencies on the pitch in practice.
Not too much distance. It was from the middle of the field, but it's going to be a line out here just outside their own 40-meter line for the Grizzlies.
This is a great tournament, the National Collegiate Rugby All-Star Shield Challenge. For many, many years, USA Rugby and all the different territorial unions put on these interterritorial tournaments, systematically combing the country for talent. And it went away for more than a decade, and National Collegiate Rugby has brought it back here with this tournament. Now entering year 4 since the resurgence.
And a little bit of a messy ball pops up. It's going to be taken down by the Foundry. Oh, excuse me, it's taken by Pacific Coast. Looks like it's brought in. A little out of my viewpoint here as we come down into Ronho. Again, not rolling away. Quick calls against the Foundry this half, Pat.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one right after the other at the breakdown, and the Pacific Coast Grizzlies really need to take a little bit better advantage on this kick if they can. They didn't get much ground at all in the last one. Take your time here. Sam Brown, Vancouver, Canada native. A little bit more purchase than last time. She certainly does now.
Yeah, he certainly does. Ball down just about 30 meters out from the Tri-State Foundry line.
Set pieces are certainly one of the more difficult trials when you get into select side play. Who's doing what role at the line out? Often people are going to be performing different roles than they're used to, and there's not a lot of continuity, not a lot of reps together. And the Pacific Coast Grizzlies have struggled a little bit here with this particular set piece.
Ball not clean there, but down into the hands of Pacific Coast nonetheless. Aranjo draws a penalty. Player was trying to crawl away. There was Patrick Heffright from Syracuse, but referee is going to bring it back for the penalty for Pacific Coast.
I mentioned Aranjo's name a couple of times. He was the MVP of the Collegiate Rugby Championship last year, helping New Mexico Tech claim the Sevens CRC title. Fantastic player. Him and Van Wyck are quite the tandem. More subs rolling on there for the Foundry. So we got Bennett Mance coming on from, we've got Luke Vivier coming on from UConn and Matthew Paquette coming on from UConn. A couple of Huskies. Fresh legs subbing on.
Foundry needs something here, as close to the line are the Pacific Coast Grizzlies. If they can connect on this line out, they have certainly an opportunity, and they do. Big unit at the back in Tom Williams, but ball comes to ground. Referee has the arm out for a penalty. Foundry in a bit of trouble here. Free play coming, ball taken away, but all for naught. We'll come back for the penalty here for the Grizzlies.
Looked like a bad turnover at first from Brown, the fly half, but he knew that they had an advantage, so he made a risky pass. Now they're going to come back to that penalty. Not a bad interception whatsoever.
And we look at the other field there. We got Southeast. The Bears are taking on Independent White, and it's all tied up 12-12. And it's just outside of the stadium as continue to look at the Pacific Coast here. They look like looked like they were going quick there, Pat. But I think they were just in the wrong place.
Interesting move. Looks like we got it settled. And of course, Tom Williams is the guy that you're going to find. He had a great carry down in this end, leading up to that last try.
Forward just working in tandem here for the Pacific Coast. There's Nemo trying to work his way in. The Wayne State College Engineering Tech major. Another big run coming in from the Grizzlies. Grizzlies just outside the line here. Grizzlies looking for it. We're going to come back here for a penalty, not rolling away again against the Foundry. Everything just seems to be going against this Foundry team this half. Players in here for the Pacific Coast. We'll see what happens. Looked like the player was held up, so it'll be a goal line dropout here for the Foundry. The referee wants to have a conversation with the assistant referee just to be sure.
Utah Valley number 8, Parker Marquis.
Oh, no,
they're going to give him the try. That's right. The AR caught it. Parker Marquis, the number 8 for UVU, is able to dot that thing down. Good usage of the assistant referee. That's why you got him, especially in a high-end tournament like this. Make sure you get it right, and they did. Pacific Coast Grizzlies put another one on the board, and it's a ball game.
Takes them to 19.
Mentioned that New England Independence white team outside on the outside fields tied with the Southeast Bears. New England is the only region that put in 2 teams into this championship bracket, this 8-team championship Shield Challenge. New England is absolutely stacked with talent, and they've got a ton of guys up there. So they actually have 3 teams here. Their blue side is playing in the Rising Stars competition, which is meant for underclassmen, and a few of these other regions have put teams together. So there's a Rising Stars competition, and some of those guys who played in those Rising Stars competitions in years prior are now stepping up here playing in this Shield Challenge.
You get to see their red team right after this game in the stadium as they take on the Midwest.
Defending champion.
Right now, Pacific Coast pulling away here. Go ahead, Pat.
The defending champion Northeast Red is all I was repeating, coming in off of a nice 18-8 win over the Pacific Coast Grizzlies in the championship of this tournament last year. Ironically enough, or funnily enough, that in that game it was indiscipline that hurt the Grizzlies, and that's what hurt them early on here, but it's certainly helping them late as they're making a run.
Yeah, they certainly are making a run for it here as we're at the 40-minute mark. And that looks like it is going to be it for our game, as game number 1 for the Pacific Coast is won by them. Foundry started off strong but came down a little bit. We're going to step away. We're going to bring them on this field. It's going to be Independent Red versus Midwest at 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. East Coast. We'll be right back.
Since 1979, we've been searching for perfection. We've been thinking, sketching, and designing. We've been building, assembling, and strengthening. We've been cutting, shaping, and painting. We've created strength and beauty time and again. Our machines are made for one thing: the perfect hit. We are the crouch. We are the bind. We are the set. We are the squeeze. We are the hit. We